Hi, this is Herm from Delica-m. I'm here today to talk about how we did a certain special effect for our Pretty in the Dark music video. A lot of people asked about this, so I threw this together for anyone who might be interested. The first step, obviously, is to just make a little paper cutout of the Tholian head we're going to do. Now, it's going to start off as a flat piece of paper, but after we cut it out and fold it and tape the edges together, it's going to end up with a slightly three-dimensional texture, which is what we want. So now that we have our paper cutout ready, all we have to do is place it on a relatively smooth-colored background and take a photograph of it. We had two lights on either side with red and green gels on them to give the different light textures. This will come into play a little bit later, as you'll see. It makes it more than just plain white. The background here is just a table placeholder. It's a dark blue color. It's something that's going to be distinctly different from the white of the paper, which is going to enable us to mask it out later on. So, given this lighting and this backdrop, we just simply take a picture. From this point on, everything is going to take place in the video editor. Now, my editor of choice is Sony Vegas. I use Sony Vegas Pro 10. Next, what we want to do is simply reframe the picture so that the Tholian's head's not floating in space. Now, the very first thing we want to apply before we do anything else is the chroma key here, which is more commonly known as green screening, but obviously it's not green in this case, it's dark blue. What we do is we use the video processing to mask out everything that's dark blue and leave only the stuff that's not. In other words, our Tholian. Now, what you might have noticed is that in the process of chroma keying, we've accidentally removed the Tholian's eyes as well because they were a very dark color. So now there's holes where his eyes used to be. The simple fix to this is to simply apply a little white box on a lower layer so that it comes through the mask. The next step is to apply brightness and contrast curves to this, essentially to bring out the colors, make them a little deeper and richer. As you can see, the red and the green really become stronger in this. Next, we want to apply something available in Sony Vegas called the convolution kernel. This is essentially a mathematical process around the image which essentially introduces a bump texture to our picture. As you can see, instead of being all smooth and paper-like, it now looks very rough and uneven. Finally, what I want to do is add a radial blur, which essentially blurs things from a center point outwards. What I wanted to do was move the center of the radial blur around to give it a sense of motion and to give kind of that weird smoky feel that the original series had. The final stage is to add the background. Now for this I use something in Sony Vegas called a noise texture. It's essentially a blending of two colors in a pseudo-random pattern, in this case dark blue and black. I've set the parameters so that they mix in sort of a cloud-like formation, and I've added a little bit of motion to it using the parameters in Sony Vegas, and I've got it to pan upwards a little bit to give that rising sense of motion that the original series shot had. So after you put all these elements together and render, here you go, voila, one Tholian. Thanks for watching.